Hello, dear friends, and welcome. It's so good to have you here with me today. Have you ever stopped to think about something as simple, as routine, as taking a shower? It's something most of us do without a second thought, a daily ritual for cleanliness, relaxation, or perhaps to wake us up or wind us down. But what if I told you that for some of us, especially as we cherish our golden years, the timing of that simple shower could hold a hidden key to our well-being, or even pose an unexpected risk? It might sound a little surprising, maybe even a bit alarming, but I want to share something with you today that truly made me pause and reflect. Recently, I came across some information, a rather startling study, that suggested evening showers could potentially increase the risk of stroke in seniors by a significant margin. Some figures even point towards a 40% increase. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, really? An evening shower? It's often seen as such a calming way to end the day. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized this is something we really need to talk about openly and caringly, because knowledge, my friends, is power, and understanding these things can help us make small changes that can have a big impact on our health and vitality. So, if you've ever wondered about the safest way to go about your daily routines, or if you're simply curious to learn more about how to best support your health as you age gracefully, then I invite you to stay with me. We're going to explore this topic together, gently and thoughtfully, and discover not just the potential risks, but also the best ways to navigate them, ensuring our daily habits contribute to our joy and longevity. Let's start by trying to understand why an evening shower, which many of us find so relaxing, might pose this particular challenge for seniors. What's the science, the medical reasoning behind this rather shocking statistic? It's not about scaring anyone, but about understanding our amazing bodies a little better, especially how they respond to different conditions as we accumulate more wisdom and experience in life. The first major factor we need to consider is something called blood pressure fluctuation. Imagine your blood pressure on a bit of a roller coaster, even a gentle one. When you step into a warm or hot shower, the heat causes your blood vessels to dilate or widen. This is a natural response. Your body is trying to release heat. When your blood vessels widen, your blood pressure can initially drop. You might have even felt a little lightheaded sometimes in a very hot bath or shower, right? Now, after you finish your shower, especially if the air in your bathroom or bedroom is cooler, your blood vessels will start to constrict or narrow again. This can cause your blood pressure to rise. For a younger person with very elastic blood vessels, these changes are usually managed quite well by the body. However, as we age, our blood vessels may become a bit stiffer, less flexible. This means they don't adapt as quickly or as smoothly to these sudden changes in temperature and the resulting demands on the circulatory system. This rapid swing, a drop followed by a rise, or vice versa if you step out into a very cold room, can put a strain on the cardiovascular system. In some individuals, particularly those who might already have underlying conditions like hypertension or atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, this sudden strain can, in the worst-case scenario, trigger a stroke if blood flow to the brain is compromised. It's like asking an old faithful car engine to suddenly race and then brake hard. It puts a lot of stress on the system. Then there's the issue of oxygen, or more specifically the potential for a slight reduction in available oxygen, a condition we call hypoxia, and the related risk of feeling faint or actually fainting, which is called syncope. Think about a typical bathroom when a hot shower is running. It gets steamy, right? That steam is water vapor, and while it feels cozy, it also means there's a bit less oxygen in the air you're breathing compared to a well-ventilated room. For most people, this isn't a significant issue. But as we get older, our heart and lung functions might not be quite as robust as they once were. We might have a slightly reduced lung capacity, or our heart might have to work a little harder to pump oxygenated blood around the body. In a warm, steamy, enclosed bathroom, especially during a longer shower, an older adult might not get quite enough oxygen. This can lead to dizziness, lightheadedness, and in some cases, fainting. And a fall in a bathroom, as we all know, can be very dangerous, leading to broken bones or head injuries. Moreover, if the body is already under stress from blood pressure changes, A reduction in oxygen can further exacerbate the risk of a cardiovascular event, like a stroke. It's a combination of factors that can create a vulnerable situation. I remember a story about a gentleman, let's call him Arthur. Arthur loved his long, hot evening showers. One evening, his wife heard a thud. She rushed in to find him on the floor, disoriented. Thankfully, it wasn't a stroke, but he had fainted due to the heat and steam. It was a stark reminder for their family about these hidden dangers. The third critical aspect is the impact of sudden body temperature changes on our blood vessels. Our bodies are truly remarkable at maintaining a stable internal temperature, but external changes can still have an effect. When you immerse yourself in hot water, your body temperature starts to rise. Then when you step out of the shower, especially if the ambient air is significantly cooler, your body temperature can drop quite quickly. This sudden cooling causes your blood vessels, particularly those near the skin, to constrict rapidly. This constriction can increase resistance to blood flow, which in turn can elevate blood pressure. If there's already some narrowing in the arteries, perhaps due to cholesterol buildup over the years, this sudden additional constriction can be enough to significantly impede blood flow or even dislodge a small plaque, potentially leading to a blockage that causes a stroke. Think of it like a garden hose. If you suddenly squeeze it, the pressure builds up behind the squeeze. It's a similar principle with our blood vessels. The body is trying to conserve heat, but this rapid vascular response can be problematic for a more delicate system. So you see, it's not just one single thing, but a combination of these physiological responses: the blood pressure roller coaster, the potential for reduced oxygen in a steamy environment, and the shock of temperature changes on our vascular system that contributes to this increased risk highlighted by the study. And this risk seems to be more pronounced in the evening. Why might that be? Well, in the evening our bodies are naturally winding down. Our circadian rhythms are preparing us for sleep, and some physiological processes might be less responsive or more vulnerable to stressors compared to other times of the day. Now, this might all sound a bit concerning, and I understand that, but please remember, the goal here isn't to make you fearful of showering, but to empower you with knowledge so you can make the choices that are best for your health and peace of mind. So if evening showers carry these potential risks, when is the best time for seniors to take a shower? The consensus from many health advisors, and what seems to align best with our body's natural rhythms, points towards the afternoon. Let's explore why the afternoon, say between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., often emerges as the champion for shower time for older adults. Firstly, consider our body's natural state in the afternoon. By this time, your body has been awake and active for several hours. Your metabolism is generally stable. Your blood pressure has likely settled into its daytime rhythm after the morning adjustments, and your body temperature is typically at its peak for the day. This means your system is generally more robust and better equipped to handle the slight physiological stresses of showering, like temperature changes and the effort of bathing itself. You're not coming straight from sleep, nor are you on the verge of going to bed. Secondly, the environmental temperature is often more favorable in the afternoon. The ambient air temperature is usually at its warmest point in the day, meaning the contrast between the warm shower water and the air in your bathroom or home is less stark. This reduces the shock of stepping out of the shower into a cooler environment, which, as we discussed, can cause that sudden constriction of blood vessels. A gentler transition in temperature is much kinder to your cardiovascular system. Thirdly, think about your daily life rhythm. The afternoon can often be a period of natural lull. You've likely had lunch, and perhaps you're looking for a gentle way to refresh yourself before any late afternoon or early evening activities, or simply to feel comfortable for the rest of the day. Showering in the afternoon can be a pleasant, rejuvenating break, fitting neatly into the day without rushing in the morning or potentially disrupting sleep patterns at night. It allows you to take your time to not feel hurried, which is also important for safety. So if the afternoon is ideal, what about other times? Why should we perhaps avoid showering first thing in the morning or right before bed? Let's touch on that. When you first wake up in the morning, your body is just transitioning from a state of rest. Your blood pressure is naturally at its lowest point during sleep and begins to rise upon waking. This period of adjustment can make your cardiovascular system a bit more sensitive. Jumping into a hot shower immediately might accelerate blood pressure changes too quickly for some. Also, your body might still be a bit stiff, and your energy levels might not be at their peak, potentially increasing the risk of a slip or fall if you're not fully alert. It's generally better to allow your body some time to fully wake up, perhaps have a light breakfast and move around a bit before considering a shower. And what about right before bed? Many people find an evening shower relaxing, and for some it can indeed promote sleep. However, there's a nuance here. A very hot shower right before trying to sleep can sometimes be counterproductive. For optimal sleep, our core body temperature needs to drop slightly. A hot shower raises your core body temperature, while the subsequent cooling down can eventually aid sleep. If you shower too close to bedtime, you might find yourself feeling too warm or too alert to fall asleep easily. Moreover, as we've discussed, the evening is when the risks associated with blood pressure fluctuations and other factors seem to be heightened for seniors. If you do prefer an evening cleanse, a lukewarm bath or a very quick, not too hot shower, taken at least an hour or two before bed, might be a safer compromise, but the afternoon still generally holds the top spot for safety and comfort. Understanding the why and the when is crucial, but equally important is the how. Regardless of when you choose to shower, there are several precautions we can all take, especially as seniors, to make showering a safer and more pleasant experience, significantly lowering any potential risks, including that of a stroke. Let's walk through these important considerations together, shall we? Think of this as your friendly guide to a safer shower. First and foremost, let's talk about water temperature and duration. The ideal water temperature for a senior's shower is generally considered to be warm but not excessively hot. Aim for a range between 98 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 37 to 40.5 degrees Celsius. If you don't have a thermometer for your water, think comfortably warm, like a pleasant embrace, not scalding or making your skin turn bright red. Water that's too hot can exacerbate those blood pressure drops and increase the risk of dizziness or burns on sensitive skin. And how long should you shower? It's best to keep your shower time controlled, ideally between 10 to 15 minutes. Longer showers increase the exposure to steam, raise the body temperature more significantly, and can lead to fatigue, dehydration, and that potential oxygen depletion we talked about. So, a shorter, warm shower is the way to go. Next, let's consider the order in which you wash. There's a principle that some experts suggest: start warm, then go a bit warmer if comfortable, and wash from the extremities inward, or sometimes phrased as feet first. The idea is to allow your body to acclimatize gradually to the water temperature. Instead of stepping directly under a full blast of hot water, you might start by wetting your feet and legs, then your arms and torso, and finally your head and shoulders. This gradual introduction of warmth helps to prevent a sudden shock to your system and allows your blood vessels to adapt more gently. It's a small change, but it can make a difference in how your body responds. The bathroom environment itself plays a huge role in shower safety. Before you even turn on the water, if your bathroom tends to be chilly, consider preheating it with a safe space heater for a few minutes. This reduces that dramatic temperature difference when you step out of the shower, minimizing the risk of blood vessels constricting too rapidly. And while a warm bathroom is good ventilation is equally critical. If you have an exhaust fan, use it. If not, try to keep the door slightly ajar or a window cracked open, if safe and practical, to prevent excessive steam buildup and ensure a good supply of fresh air. This helps to mitigate the risk of hypoxia. Also, and this is so important, ensure your shower or tub has non-slip mats or adhesive strips to prevent falls. And if you feel unsteady on your feet, please consider using a shower chair or bench and have grab bars professionally installed. These aids can make a world of difference in maintaining your independence and safety. I always tell my friends, there's no shame in using tools that help us live better and safer lives. Another very important point is to avoid showering immediately after a meal or when you have an empty stomach. When you've just eaten a meal, especially a large one, your body diverts a significant amount of blood flow to your digestive system to help process the food. If you then take a hot shower, which also demands increased blood flow to the skin for cooling, it can lead to a temporary shortage of blood, and therefore oxygen, to the brain. This can cause dizziness, lightheadedness, or even fainting. It's best to wait at least an hour or two after eating before showering, Similarly, showering on a completely empty stomach, especially if you're prone to low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, isn't advisable. Your body needs energy for the physical exertion of showering and to manage temperature regulation. Low blood sugar can lead to weakness, dizziness, and an increased risk of falls or other complications. Having a small light snack if you haven't eaten for a while might be a good idea if you plan to shower. Before we wrap up, I just want to take a moment here. If you're finding this information helpful, if it's sparking some thoughts or perhaps giving you a new perspective, I'd be so grateful if you could give this a thumbs up, or perhaps share it with someone you care about, who might also benefit from knowing these things. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing, because we often talk about topics like this, all aimed at living our best, healthiest, and happiest lives, especially in our cherished senior years. Your engagement truly helps others find this content, and it lets me know what topics resonate most with you. Now let's bring all these threads together. We've journeyed through some potentially surprising information today, haven't we? We've learned about a study suggesting a link between evening showers and an increased stroke risk for seniors, a statistic that certainly catches your attention. But more importantly, we've explored the why. The complex dance of blood pressure changes, the subtle risks of oxygen levels in steamy rooms, and the jolt that sudden temperature shifts can give to our sensitive vascular systems. We then moved on to the more empowering part, the solutions and strategies. We identified that the afternoon often stands out as the golden hour for showering for many older adults, a time when our bodies and the environment are often in better sync for this daily ritual. We also touched upon why early mornings or right before bed might be less ideal. And crucially, we've armed ourselves with a checklist of practical, actionable shower safety tips. Remember to keep the water warm, not scalding, and the shower duration to a sensible 10 to 15 minutes. Think about the order of washing. Gentle acclimatization is key. Prepare your bathroom environment by pre-warming it if necessary and ensuring good ventilation. And please, make use of non-slip mats and grab bars. And finally, be mindful of timing your showers away from immediately after meals or when your stomach is completely empty. My dear friends, the journey of aging is one filled with wisdom, experience, and often a deeper appreciation for the simple things in life. Taking a shower is one of those simple things. But by understanding how our bodies change and how they interact with our environment and daily routines, we can transform that simple act into one that actively supports our health and well-being, rather than inadvertently posing a risk. This isn't about creating fear or anxiety. It's about fostering awareness, encouraging gentle vigilance, and empowering you with the knowledge to make informed choices. The information about the increased stroke risk with evening showers is a call to attention, a prompt for us to reevaluate a common habit. It's a reminder that even small adjustments can have profound positive impacts on our health journey. So, I encourage you to reflect on what we've discussed today. Think about your own showering habits, or those of your loved ones. Are there any small changes you could make? Perhaps shifting your shower time to the afternoon, or being more mindful of the water temperature and bathroom environment. These are not just abstract recommendations, they are practical steps towards safeguarding your precious health. Your well-being is paramount. Cherish it, protect it, and continue to live your life with joy, vitality, and peace of mind. Remember, knowledge shared is care multiplied. If this conversation has resonated with you, please share these insights. You never know whose life you might touch, whose health you might help protect. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. It's always a privilege to connect with you. Until next time, please take good care of yourselves, stay safe, and keep shining. Goodbye for now.